Yo, what's up, everybody? It's me. So, I think we're on like video. I haven't been keeping track of the numbers. I actually need to number the videos, so I need to go back through the videos and number them. But we're pretty far along now here. This video is probably gonna be shorter than most. I know I always say that, and they never are. But this one's just about tying your plants down. I showed you plant ties in the last video when I did flowering stages and stuff. You saw some plants tied down. But this video here is just going to show you actually plants tied down and why and how to do it. So when your plant starts flowering, it's going to go through what's called the stretch phase. Excuse me. The stretch phase is when your plant doubles to triples in size. So once you switch your lights to 12-12 and start flowering, which you should be doing now if you're following the videos, your plant is going to double and possibly even triple in size. It's going to grow very quickly, like it has a growth spurt, and so that's what's going to happen. And so your tint. Sometimes, basically, what I'm telling you here is that after the stretch phase, sometimes your plant can outgrow your tint. Plants don't have to stay under the lights. The plants can grow above the lights, and then there within you have a problem. Your plants, you cannot let your plant grow above the light. If it does, you have to tie it down under the light, which is what you're looking at here. And it works. It works good. And it has a double purpose because you also get to exercise your plant. You get to give it training. You get to train the plant. So it's a double whammy in that situation. You're giving your plant exercise. It's good for your plants to be tied down usually, as long as you're doing it the proper way and still keeping them under the lights and things like that. But it's usually good for your plant to be tied down. It gives your plant exercise. We've already discussed this in another video about stress training. So it helps your plant to tie it down. Now you can see here in this video here, this is a grandpa cookies that is really close to done. It looks beautiful. I love the way it looks. It was the stretch phase. You see how big she is. She was growing above my light. So I simply took some Velcro ties I got off Amazon. These are green Velcro ties. They are plant ties for tying plants. You don't actually have to tie them because they are Velcro. So after you pull the plant, you can just stick them together, and it saves you from having to tie a knot. They're very useful. They're on Amazon. So I use these Velcro ties. Sometimes I use string. You can use string. You can use anything. Just get on Amazon and type tie plants down. I prefer, the Velcro ties are great. If you find the Velcro ties on Amazon, that's what I recommend. They are awesome. And so what you want to do is, if your plant is outgrowing the light, you want to grab the top of the plant, the top, and you want to pull it down under the light. And then you want to find an anchor point. So your net that you should already have in place serves a double purpose because it's a great anchor point. You can anchor your the green Velcro ties to the net, and it won't affect the net at all. I do it all the time. The net serves as a great area to pull down your ties and tie them to. You can also tie to, see me pointing at the post, you can tie it to the tent post. You can tie it to, I have one of them in here tied to you can see over to the right, it's tied to the cord of my grow light. You can tie, you just need to find an anchor point. The plants, the plants aren't strong enough to where it's going to mess up anything. No matter what you tie it to, it's going to hold. The plants aren't that strong unless maybe you're growing outside or something. This is a great way to keep your plants under the light and give it exercise. As long as that plant is being pulled down and it's secure, that's all you got to do. It's not going to be, the plant's not going to be strong enough to break that strap. The tie down will hold your plant until it's time to harvest it. You can see on this plant over here, that's a sour jack I got there. You know, she was leaning to the left some. So when the plant is leaning to one side, all you do is pull it to the opposite side. So if the plant is leaning left, you put the tie around it and you pull it to the right and you find your anchor point. And that's what I did. You can, you know, practice makes perfect. But in general, you want to tie down your plants for two main reasons. One is if they grow too big above your lights. Now, if you're growing outdoors, you don't have lights. The sun is your light. These videos aren't for outdoors. However, if you are growing outdoors, you probably have a fence for privacy. Plants can grow above your fence, which most people do not want. I've seen many posts on the internet about how, on Reddit and the such, about how people's plants grew above their privacy fence of 6 feet and they were worried about neighbors seeing it. That would be a moment you would probably have to try to tie down your plants. You can't stop a plant from growing. You can only tie it down. Nature is nature. You cannot give or do your plant anything. You cannot look at it and say, okay, don't grow any taller. All you can do is tie it down until it stops growing taller. They will stop growing when the stretch phase is over. It doesn't grow forever. It only grows until the stretch phase is done. When the stretch phase is done, you'll see the buds start getting bigger. Usually at that point, the height of your plant has been reached. It doesn't just keep getting taller and taller forever. It does stop. Usually with an indoor grow inside of a tent, the plant will stop growing under the lights. Most of my plants, the stretch phase, they still stop under the lights, depending on when you start your 12-12. You want to start your 12-12 lights for flowering, you know, when your plant is about 3 feet. You don't do it when your plant is 4 or 5 feet, because then you have a giant plant. So you want to start the flowering phase between 2 and 3 feet, 2.5, 3, about 3 feet, maybe not even 3 feet, probably about 2.5, 2 feet, about 2 feet, and then your plant is going to stretch to be about 5 feet probably. So that's a good point. Just depends on how big your tent is. Everybody has different height in their tent. But you don't want to start 12-12 after your plant is a giant. You want to start it when your plant is smaller, about 2 feet. And so after the stretch phase, the buds will start getting bigger and the plant will stop growing in height, and you'll just see the buds start growing. And the branches and the limbs will start getting longer. It will eventually stop getting taller. But again, you can't control nature. So if it gets, you know, if you see it and if you see it running into your lights, that's going to hit the light, then you have to tie it. You don't have to raise your lights up. You can tie any plant below a light. In many fashions, you don't even have to do it how I do it there. Some people use their net and they tuck everything under their net, including the tops. I don't grow that way. But there are many ways to keep your plant under the lights. Tying it down is easiest for me. Whatever part is close to the light, I grab it. I loop the tie around it, and I just tie it. I just stick the Velcro. I find the net, and I just pull it down. And you can weed plants can take it. Marijuana plants can take the tie down. Just make sure you don't break it. But they can take being stretched down and tied. You see how that one is? It's keeping her under. She's been like that for months. She's almost done flowering. She's going on 2 months like that. So, they'll stay like that. You don't have to worry about, them breaking off. She stayed like that for 2 months. As long as you don't pull it too tight, you'll be able to tell by the resistance whether they can handle it or not. I've never broken any of my plants tying them down. I've never broken them. You can tell. You can feel how much resistance the plant can handle just yourself. If it starts cracking, you're pulling it too hard. You need more length. But it's practice. It's a practice makes perfect type of situation. I don't have a whole lot more to say here. You can rewind this video and watch the video again. You can see how I have them pulled down. Right here's a good shot how I have them pulled down. And I just have it pulled over the branch there, over the stem, and then I have it pulled all the way down to the net. You can see how I am purposefully pushing the buds and pulling it just to show you. See the See the resistance there, and the plant wants to go into the lights. I'm pulling it back from the lights, and I tie it down to my net. A beautiful shot of the video here. Tie it just like that. This is Velcro, so you don't actually have to tie it. All you have to do is just stick it together. It sticks together. But beautiful shots here. Sour Jack here. See, it was leaning to the left. A big, beautiful Sour Jack plant here was leaning to the left. All I did was just tie it to a cord. Tie it to the cord of my light. You can see right there. There's the lights. There's the cord. That'll hold it. And this is your lesson on tying down plants. Any questions you can ask me. But tying down plants is a good thing. You can tie down plants even if they're not growing into the lights. Even if they're not tipping over, you can do it to give them exercise. I typically let my net do the exercise itself. And I generally only pull the tops if they're leaning or if they're too tall. I try to use my net to give it the resistance it needs for exercise. I usually turn out with pretty nice looking plants. You can see these plants here. They're beautiful. Very healthy plants here. That's it. That's all I got for y'all. Any questions on tying down plants? Ask me. The Velcro tie strap thingies, they're on Amazon. And that's all. See y'all in the next video.